All right, let's get right into it. If you're a creative pro who's ever tried to use an AI image generator, you know the feeling. It's kind of like playing a slot machine. You have this amazing idea, you pull the lever, but you just can't get the result you want. Well, that whole era might be coming to an end, all thanks to a new tool called Nano Banana Pro. We're going to break down exactly how it fixes one of AI's most infuriating problems.
And that frustration? Oh, it's very real. Get this, a whopping 78% of professional designers just straight up abandoned the early AI image tools. And why? Because they were totally unreliable. You just couldn't bet your project on them. This number right here, this is the whole reason a tool like Nano Banana Pro even exists.
And this slide nails the problem perfectly. People started calling it the slot machine problem. You know the drill. You'd finally get a great composition, a character you really liked, and then you'd ask the AI for one tiny little change, like fix the text on a sign, and bam, the whole thing redraws, your character's face is gone, the composition is ruined. It was absolutely maddening.
So here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to really unpack that slot machine problem. Then we'll introduce Nano Banana Pro, and I'll walk you through 2 quick tutorials on its most powerful features. After that, we'll see how it stacks up against the competition, and finally talk about what this means for the future and why it might be the end of prompt engineering. So let's just quickly recap those big frustrations. Besides losing your whole image on a small edit, the main culprits were, that weird gibberish text that looked like an alien language. And then there was zero character consistency. You couldn't get the same person in a second photo to save your life. And the tools that did offer control, they were just way too complicated to learn.
And this is where things get interesting. Enter Nano Banana Pro. It's running on Google's new Gemini 3.0 Pro model, and it's built from the ground up to close that gap between something that's easy to use and something that gives you the fine-tuned control that pros have been begging for. It's the evolution from a fun little toy to a serious studio tool.
Now check out this timeline, because this did not happen overnight. After some early hiccups back in 2024, Google launched the first version of Nano Banana, and it went viral because it was so fast. But the real game changer dropped in late 2025 with the Pro version. And by early this year, huge companies were already using it for real commercial mockups. That's an incredibly fast turnaround.
So, how does it actually beat that slot machine problem? Well, the secret sauce is this thing called the reasoning core. Now, this is the key. It doesn't just understand words, it understands space and geometry. You can tell it what to change and where to change it. And it doesn't have to guess and redraw the entire scene. It keeps your composition locked in. This is a huge leap forward.
All right, enough talk, let's get practical. Our first little tutorial is on a feature that goes way beyond just typing in words, multi-image blending. This is for those times when a text prompt just can't capture what's in your head. It lets you combine up to 14 different images to create one perfectly blended result.
So what can you actually blend? Well, think of it like you're an art director with a super intelligent assistant. You can grab a specific model's face from one photo, the cool texture of a jacket from another, a scenic background from a travel pic, a lighting style you love from a movie still, even a brand-specific color palette. And then just tell the AI to fuse it all together logically. This is an absolute game changer for creating specific on-brand content. And the process itself is surprisingly simple. First, you just upload your main image. Then you start adding your reference images, up to 13 more of them for things like style, texture, or light. And finally, you just write a simple sentence telling the AI how to put it all together. Something like, use the face from image 1, put them in the setting from image 2 with the color style of image 3. And then it just does it. It creates one cohesive image that understands all of those inputs. Okay, on to tutorial number 2. And we're going to tackle the 2 biggest nightmares of AI image generation: awful lighting control and that famous nonsense text. This is where Nano Banana Pro's conversational workflow is just chef's kiss. Just look at this comparison, it's night and day. On the left, you've got the old way, right? That long string of technical jargon we called prompt engineering. On the right, you have the new way, a simple conversation. You just talk to it, change the lighting, make the billboard say sale. You don't have to learn a whole new technical language anymore just to get your idea out.
And here's exactly how that flow works. It's so cool. You generate your first image, then you just start chatting with the AI. You can type something like, okay, that's good, but make the lighting more dramatic, maybe like golden hour. And the reasoning core kicks in and changes only the light, leaving your subject alone. You can keep going back and forth refining every little detail until it's perfect just by talking to it.
So we've seen how it works, but what really makes Nano Banana Pro a true professional tool? Let's take a look at how it actually stacks up against the other big players in the areas that really matter for getting work done.
I mean, this table pretty much says it all, right? For text, Nano Banana Pro is flawless, while the others are still hit or miss. The UI is a simple chat, not some complex interface. But the real knockout punch is the reference images. The ability to blend up to 14 images is something no one else is even close to. That alone gives it a massive advantage.
And it's not just the big, flashy features. It's got all the nuts and bolts that studios need. You're getting native 2K renders with a professional 4K upscaler for print work. Every image has an invisible watermark for authenticity, which is huge. It finally nails character consistency. And you can get it all right inside the Google Gemini app or with a Google One subscription.
So let's zoom out. What does all of this really mean for the future of creativity? Well, the rise of tools like Nano Banana Pro is signaling a pretty massive shift. We are actually watching the end of prompt engineering as we know it.
This quote from a recent trend report just captures it perfectly. The future of creating with AI isn't about memorizing technical commands or camera settings. It's about having a conversation. It's about collaboration.
And that's really the big idea I want to leave you with. For so long, our creative tools have been, just instruments that we had to learn and master. But now they're becoming active partners that we can just talk to. So the question is, if you can chat with your creative tools like they're a member of your team, what does that unlock? What new ideas, what new worlds does that suddenly make possible?